Alright, so we're about to go pick up a $50 computer. Paisley, stop whining. This is what I have to deal with on a daily basis. We're about to go pick up a $50 computer. It's got a GTX 660 in it and some type of Intel CPU. I'm not sure how much RAM, I'm not sure about anything, but it's 50 bucks, so we're gonna pick that up and we'll be doing that right now. Okay, so we just got the computer. I didn't film any of it because I don't really want to film the person who is selling it because I'm not sure if they want me to or not. So here it is. We're going to turn it on for the first time. It did not come with a side panel, but I did open it up and see what kind of CPU is inside of there. What? And this Wendy's cup. All right, first turn on, it looks good. I see lights on, it's all plugged in. And this button up top here is broken. The button's broken. Oh my goodness. All right, wait, give me a second. That is, okay, which one of these is the power switch? I'll just short it. Okay, it's those two. All right, hold on one second, pause. We're gonna do a quick commercial break. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. And it didn't work. Huh. There we go. So it's turning on. Loud fans, if you hear that. Those. So the CPU, so that CPU inside of there is an i7 3770K with a Z77 motherboard that I purchased for 50 bucks. The graphics card is a GTX 660. It's kind of bad. I think there's only 4 gigabytes of RAM, but I'm going to upgrade it for a few bucks with some stuff I've purchased in the past few weeks, I'd say. And I'll give you a final cost, a final build, and then we'll run a few benchmarks on just some basic benchmarking games and some basic benchmarking apps. And then I'll drop a screwdriver and I'll let you know how good this computer is, because for 50 bucks, 750 watt power supply, an i7 3770K, a Z77 motherboard. I mean, the 660 is kind of lousy, but for 50 bucks, like the 660 is almost worth 50 bucks. So all in, the case sucks because it's broken, but all in, I'm at 50 bucks for this whole thing, and I have a few gigabyte sticks. I have a few sticks of RAM right here. These are DDR3, I believe these run at 1600 megahertz. These I bought for 25 bucks a few weeks ago because I knew I'd be doing something like this relatively soon. So then we'll be at 75 bucks, and then I'll probably just leave it as is. I do have a cooler, this Hyper 212 Evo that I picked up in another computer that I just pretty much stole from it, and I'll include that price of what I technically paid for, which is like 5 bucks. And then we'll have a total build and we'll do some beautiful B-roll shots of it, and then I'll give you my final thoughts, not finer thoughts, and then that's pretty much it. Alright, I'll see you in a second. Okay, well, that's super bright. Okay, so here's the computer, this is the back side of it. I just took out this back panel, but I figured I'd show the whole thing on video. I'm just gonna disassemble it and then I'm going to put it in this big, oh, that's the case right there. This big case right here, I believe this is a Cooler Master half something. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's a nice case. I cleaned this out. I got this from a different computer, so I'm going to clean this out, put it in here because this power button works, and that way it just looks a little bit cleaner. So let's get into it.
There's been too many late nights that I've been up. Instead of planning out the day for I wake up, but make time for good times, cause the sun don't set, but it sure rise early. Long days, longer nights, how I like it, yeah. Long days, longer nights, how I like it, yeah. Long days, even longer nights, eating parfaits, use the stars for light, hit the arcade and exchange a 50 for a handful of tickets in a hand that's sticky. Thinking on a wish, giving pennies to the fishes. My wish to land a kickflip granted me some stitches. I missed the mad mischief, super soaking broke of physics. Like if I pump 100 times, I could shoot right through the kitchen. If I spit 100 rhymes, I'll get 1,000,000 listens. But I ain't good at math, you can double check the digits if you want. But I ain't gonna front, I'd rather swing and miss than be laying down that bun. So I'm racing to the sandlot and making plans for my peppercorn. Hope she think my band rock and see the metaphor. Not a care nor a cloud in the sky. This whole damn summer is mine. There's been too many late nights that I've been up. Instead of planning out the day for I wake up. But make time for good times, cause the sun don't set, but it sure rise early. Long days, longer nights, how I like it, yeah. Long days, longer nights, how I like it, yeah. And all the late night talks we had were all that we had way back then.
And we're back. So you just saw the benchmarks on the screen there. It did pretty good on the CPU side. Geekbench score over 14,000. That's very, very competent. That's without an overclock. That's just stock everything. I'm very, very happy with that. And considering the fact that it's a $50 computer, can you really beat that? Probably not. I think that this just goes to show this was lucky. I got lucky, 50 bucks. The guy had no idea what was inside of his computer. He was just like, well, I don't really need it anymore, so I'm just going to sell it off to the first person who offers me money. He was at 75. I offered him 50. He didn't even try. He didn't even try to be like 60. He was just like, yeah, 50's fine. But there are some things to take away from this. It's knowing what you're buying. So the reason I knew that this computer was better than just crap was not because like the graphics card, like a GTX 660 isn't great. Even at the time, it wasn't great. It was okay, but it wasn't great. But when you look at the actual motherboard and the CPU cooler, so I saw the CPU cooler and I was like, okay, it's a stock Intel cooler. What does that mean? Probably going to be a locked processor, 2nd or 3rd gen. The way I could tell that was the color scheme on the motherboard. And I'm not sure if maybe I'm wrong on this, but from my understanding, if it's like a blue and black or a blue and white color scheme, that's normally the 2nd or 3rd gen motherboards. I know that the few motherboards that I've had that were 2nd or 3rd gen had that same color scheme. So I was like, it's probably a 2nd or 3rd gen chip. Really what I was expecting was a locked i5 2nd gen, but even at 50 bucks, that's a steal. I mean, 50 bucks for a computer is dirt cheap. It didn't have a hard drive, but you can go pick up an SSD, 120 gigabyte. There's like a dirt cheap SSD that you could buy at Micro Center for like 20 bucks. So all in 70 bucks for a computer that, while it's not necessarily a gaming computer, it does have a graphics card. This computer could edit all my videos, easily edit all my videos, and it could handle most modern titles, 1080p low settings at 30 to 40 to maybe 50 or 60 frames per second. Depending on if it's like an esports title like Fortnite, it would probably be able to handle that at closer to 60 frames per second. But the beautiful thing about that is that the CPU and motherboard are good. Like, I'm good with that. I could be good with that for the next 2, 3, 4 years. And all I would need to do would be to pick up like a GTX 980, even like a 1070 or 1060. I have purchased 1070s for 180 bucks used. I've seen a bunch of 980s for like 150, 100 bucks, 120. So I could put in another 150 bucks into that computer, have an i7 3770K with 16 gigs of RAM and also a GTX 980. So there are a lot of things to learn from this. One of them that I think is the biggest takeaway is start to learn what computers are, I guess. Buy a couple, buy some cheap ones, find just cheap old ones, even if they're dirt cheap and they're just crap. If they're 50 bucks, it's worth it to try, take apart, see what the components look like, and just learn to play with computers. The second would be when you are looking on the local ads such as Facebook, Craigslist, OfferUp, or Letgo, I would definitely just look at trying to make some money. An X58 motherboard, this is something that you probably might not know, but goes for a lot of money still. So somebody's saying 120 bucks for it. I go pick it up, the full computer, and I sell the motherboard for about 120 bucks. I get 8 gigabytes of RAM, I get a Radeon R6970, a case, a 750 watt power supply, and I get all of that stuff extra on top of just selling the motherboard. So then when I actually find a system like this one, I could throw it inside of that case, and I'll probably be switching out the GTX 660 for that R6970. And when I do that, I could sell it for like $300-400 bucks, and somebody's getting a good system, and I'll be making 200, 300, 400 bucks on this, and I'm not going to be ripping people off because I always give them a relatively good deal depending on how good of a deal I got. But I mean, 300 bucks for that system, 400 bucks for that system, that's a good buy. I mean, that 3770K is a pretty good processor even in 2019. So those are the things you can take away from this. Just always be looking, always be paying attention, and look to try to make some money. That way you could keep some of the spare parts and then use them for a build later on where you can make even more money. So if you like the video, hit subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next one. This has been Scott with Techno Eclipse. Don't forget to check out the podcast. Link will be down below. Also the Patreon and my Twitter and the forum and my Instagram and all that jazz will be in the description down below. Thanks again for watching. Peace out.